Do you think you'll be able to like emotionally cope with like losing a game? Like, will you like you? It's all you know. You only know winning. Like, how will you
I
handle it?
you know what? I somebody so like in my like regular job, like I treat now a lot of frisbee players kind of just like related to Empire, which is like one of my favorite things about being with the team because I just like do frisbee all the time.
Hmm.
And a couple of them have asked me like, what happens when you guys lose? I said, I'm not going to be here that Monday because I'm going to be distraught.
Yeah.
Not
I'm
Yeah.
kind of
not because we lost, but because every single game I go into it kind of like, oh yeah, like we're sick. This is awesome. Like let's just do the same thing again. And to have that taken away, at least to even for 1 second, is gonna really suck.
yeah. I'm a little
Kind
bit
of tell you
scared of
what,
what happens. I feel like the Empire lose and it just like awakens something and they just become better for the rest of the season and like there's not even a close game again.
I will say, and like I definitely respond to this as well. Like, I don't, did you guys like play like other sports growing up other than Ultimate?
Hmm.
I
Did you
didn't
ever
play
play?
Ultimate till college.
Yeah, same. So I played baseball growing up, and like I'm
Yeah.
from Long
Same.
Island. Like lacrosse is huge there, and those guys are like basically think they're like southeastern like football coaches, and they will like lay into you like it's nothing. And I've noticed that like when I have those kind of moments, or it's like a gut check moment, I'm immediately better for it. And I feel like a lot of the team is as well. Like, between like the Philly kind of tight game last year and having tight games with DC, like that always makes us better. And I think it definitely makes me better, and it gets everybody fired up too, especially when people start chattering a little bit. Like it gets really fun. It gets like intense at practice, and when we have a really intense practice like the week before a game, these guys come out like firing, and it's so cool.
I feel like an
Yeah.
angry Ben Yacht is like one of the scariest things you can see on a frisbee field.
He is relentless, and it's awesome. Like he will be just chattering the entire practice.
I love
Like
his mom also.
oh, the whole yacht family is
I don't like
amazing.
Dan.
Yeah. No, Dan, I
I'm just
got to
kidding. We
meet
got
in
over our beef. We got over our beef.
what was the beef between you guys?
Oh, you shit
He
on
was
Joe for being bad at Ryan's lines or something.
no, he was he was like, who's the funniest between
Oh
like
yeah.
Andrew and Ryan because it's obviously not Joe.
Yeah,
Ouch.
that was the beef. All right, let's get into Ryan's lines, and I'm curious to see how Dan Yacht did versus us last week. Yeah, we gotta go through standings and then
Yeah, can you pull up? I
I
have all
don't
the games. I have all the picks. I
okay,
still have to
I've
circle
yeah.
who has it right, but I have everything we need. I have Dan's and I have Mazur's picks written down on here as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I forget how we did it last year, but I can take us through game by game and then you can tally them and
Yeah.
then
I
announce
think we
standings
do.
at the end.
Yeah, I think you do
Yeah.
that. We did the games from last week, and you'll say who has who and what the line was, and Joe will take it from there.
All right. Except Joe will say the line because
Yeah, yeah.
I
Joe's
don't know
good.
that.
Are you gonna put the game up on the screen though?
Yeah, I have all the scores up right now.
Are you gonna share it
Is
with
that
us?
Are you gonna put it up on our screen?
yeah, yeah. Like once we
Oh,
get
that's
into
We
it.
right.
not
That's
started.
right. That's right. We should
Well,
So
we
start.
are
fucking
we are
confused.
recording. We are recording, but we didn't do like, you know.
I'm
I'm
open.
open.
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
Share your screen.
Let's
Jesus
get into
Christ.
Ryan's lines.
We're so back. We're so back. Not rusty at
All
all.
right. So for week one of Ryan's lines, it starts with glory minus 4.5. It starts with, I think the only way that this could have started with every
Yeah.
single person getting this one wrong.
Yep.
Congratulations, nobody.
Like
Even
Mazer
Dan Yacht?
and Dan
Dan
Yacht.
Yacht, Mazer, all four of us, we all took Boston.
Sweet.
Damn.
So
Good for you, Montreal.
shows us, yeah, good for Montreal. Then we have Houston minus 0.5. So congratulations, Houston, which means congratulations, Alu and myself.
Let's
Uh,
go.
Sam and I were on the Dallas train for some reason.
Yeah.
So was
no, my
so was
reasoning.
Mazer and Dan Yacht.
My reasoning was they've been around longer, and then Andrew was like, "Well, I'm gonna pick Houston. They've been around less long."
And I think
that really worked
I
out.
said the same thing.
You said I'm gonna pick with Alu every single time.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, so for this game, the line was Minnesota minus 3.5. So congratulations
Ad
to
Pittsburgh.
Sam, Ryan, Joe, and Chris Mazer.
Oh,
Dan
yeah.
Yacht 0 for 3.
Dan
no,
got
he's
0 for
1 for
3. Andrew picked Pittsburgh like an idiot.
that's how I won last year, though.
You don't think I knew that? But
It's
I
a
was like,
new
I'm gonna
year,
make these lines a
baby.
little tighter this year.
Yeah.
All right, here we've got Cascades minus 1.5, which was smashed. So congratulations to Sam, Ryan, Joe, and Chris Mazer again.
Oh my God.
Let's
Dan Yacht 0
go.
for 4.
That brings us to
Oh,
New
you
York
know he
minus
got this wrong. You know
10
Dan
and a
Yacht got this wrong.
half. Congratulations only to Ryan for the 4 of us, but also to Chris Mazer.
Wow.
So
Good shit,
Dan
Ryan.
Yacht 0 for still. Here we have Hustle minus 1.5. So congratulations to
Hustle?
anyone who said,
Really?
Yeah.
yeah, it was Hustle minus 1.5.
That's
Hustle was
wild.
better than the Flyers last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no, when you said that line, I was totally like, that's a good line. But then now that I'm seeing the actual score.
Well,
Anyway,
congrats to Sam and Ryan exclusively.
let's
Ah.
go. Good line, Ryan.
I'm doing so bad. I'm doing almost as bad as Dan Yacht. Not as bad.
All right, Aviators minus 1, which means congratulations to me and to Mazer. That's
Oh.
it.
Well, that's
hurts.
kind of rude. That's kind of rude of Mazer to pick against them.
Yeah, I agree.
That is.
Um,
Damn, he was like, I know.
Yeah.
That's some Jonte Porter stuff right there.
Is Mazer playing this year? I
Oh.
thought he was retired.
I have no idea.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Mazer, let us
Wait,
know.
Joe, didn't you watch the game?
I watched every single game. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So continuing on, we have Salt Lake minus 1. So congratulations to Sam,
Yeah.
Andrew, Joe, Mazer, and Dan Yacht.
Dan, yeah.
And Dan Yacht. Everybody except for
That's
Ryan.
on the board.
Dan Yacht's on the board.
Dan Yacht is on the board. And then the final line of the week is San Diego minus 2.5, which was absolutely smashed. Congratulations to Sam. Congratulations to Andrew. Congratulations to Ryan. Congratulations to Joe.
Nice.
And congratulations to Dan Yacht. But
Oh,
Mazer did not get
Mazer.
that one.
Mazer. Oh,
All right,
had a
I'm gonna
horrible
I'm
week.
gonna count up.
oh.
Yeah, Andy, you had a tough week.
I think
That
Sam
was
and I are
Dan
tied
Yacht.
at the top.
It was tough because you guys picked the opposite of me like every time, which was the right call.
It's a make or break strategy. So,
Yeah.
but I
Well,
mean, you and Dan Yacht were really good last year, so it would, I guess, track that like weird week you guys both struggled.
I'm still in 2023. I'm still living in 2023. You know?
It's a new year. It's the ultimate frisbee association. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ryan, I was gonna
new
ask you,
era.
as someone like tied into the league, has the verbiage like tripped anyone up? Like, are you ever saying AUDL, or is it just like kind of a complete switch?
When we first found out, which was like maybe a little bit earlier than it was like fully announced, I definitely got tripped up with it. I feel like now I still kind of do, especially like, wearing an old jersey and seeing like AUDL on it, like it definitely messes with you. But I think I've been okay with it. At least like I'll correct myself really quickly, but a lot of the players are like pretty good with it, and
Yeah.
with like the disc and everything too, or the frisbee now. And like even that, like that's such like a subtle thing that like
Mhm.
I'll say relate to club or something like that, but it feels like it feels good to be able to like call it frisbee because that's what it is.
Yeah.
I was at pickup tonight, and someone had one of those blank UFA discs, presumably from like the tryout. I don't know, but people like crowded around it like it was some sort of like mystical item, and they were like, "Whoa, what is it?"
Have you guys thrown them yet? Like, have
I've
you?
thrown it a little bit.
You saw
What do
me
you
throw it
think?
at tryouts. You saw them cut me.
Well, Sam, I know you throw it, but has the rest of the crew touched it at all? Like, it's really interesting compared to like a regular Ultra Star.
Yeah, I've thrown it a little bit when the Aviators came out here for a WL game. Steiner and I were throwing it a little bit. It's a little bit different, but I feel like if I just like was playing pickup with it, like I would just be like, "Oh, this just feels weird. I'm gonna play."
Yeah, I like that it holds its edge a little bit more than a like regular Ultra Star does, where the Ultra Star kind of like flattens out on you. I feel like you can throw better and more accurate blades with
I
this
like
disc
blades.
versus that. I like blades, especially ones that hit hands and not grounds.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
I feel
But
like
yeah, it's interesting. I have this like chronic problem where I'll let the Ultra Star like slide on my hands and I'll just jam my middle finger on like the rim of the disc like every time and it just like hurts and it's just annoying. And I haven't done that yet with the Uno. So who knows? Maybe it's a
there you go.
revolution.
Yeah. All right, Joe, you want to kick us off?
Yeah. So Ryan, you said that you and Sam were tied. Um, and that is true. You are both at 5-4, but you're also tied with Chris Mazer
Oh,
at 5-4. Elu, not the greatest start. 3-6. You're not that far behind.
I
You're
can live with
also
that.
ahead of Dan Yacht, who went 2-7.
oh,
And Ryan, fuck you. I'm 6-3.
oh,
whoa,
So you're both tied for second place.
damn.
whoa.
All right. Well done, Joe.
Mine's on.
Thank you.
Yeah, you had a little chip on your shoulder to get off there. I can
I
tell.
know. I know. Last place last year. It's not even a chip. That's just embarrassing.
I will say it's not Joe's lines; it's Ryan's lines.
Is
Well,
right.
at least I didn't start off 0-9, so I feel like I still have a shot. So
Yeah. All right, Ryan, how
Certainly.
do you want to do this? Would you like to join in the picking the lines, or since it's Ryan's lines, do you want to help me out in setting some lines?
Oh, it is Ryan's.
Ooh,
That's perfect.
that's a
Ooh.
good point.
this week should
I
be Rines' lines.
You
Ryan's
guys
Like,
could flip
lines.
back and forth. You guys could come to a consensus.
We
Like,
could.
what's the play
I feel
here?
like you'll probably have a more accurate line on a lot of these games than I will. So maybe we like either split the difference or just come to consensus on whatever the line is.
I I think we can. If here, I'll have a line in my head, and then we'll flip. So I'll do one, you'll do one, and if my line's different, I'll just say it, and then you can decide if you want to change your line.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, that works.
all right, I love it.
Ryan
Let's do it.
Andersen, you want to pick the first one?
You got Havoc.
So
You got Havoc winning this one?
definitely not. But I think it will be maybe tighter than expected. I'm kind of interested in Houston this year, so I'm gonna go 6.5. Austin minus 6.5.
Ooh.
I like the aggressiveness. I'll just say the line in my head was closer to 4.5.
Ooh,
Just because 7 points is a lot. I think winning by 7, you really need to put a beat down. But I'll let you pick the line and decide.
you want to meet in the middle? We'll go 5.5.
Let's go 5.5.
All
All
right.
right.
Ooh.
Soul minus 5.5.
Hey.
5.5. I'll go first. Give me the Austin Soul.
Give me Houston.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my gut on the 4.5 and pick Houston. I think it's gonna be like a 5-point game exactly.
Give me Houston.
All
Ryan, you
right.
get to pick too.
I think I have to stick Houston here. Yeah, I'm gonna go Houston.
That makes me nervous.
Everybody
We're gonna
picked-
set the line at 6.5, dropped it to 5.5, and still picking Houston.
They'll take them. I believe. I'm a
Wow.
believer.
This is
I love it.
Right.
This is in Austin.
All right, we got
I feel like they
Cascade.
had a first game of the year that was like a 3-point game or something.
Yeah, well, that was at Houston, I think, last year. I think it was really windy, and also they had like a camcorder, and the guy was like filming his feet
Yeah.
for like
I
half of it.
definitely
Yeah,
remember that
filming
part.
it. Yeah, filming it from the parking garage 3 streets away.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, game 2, Cascades on the road this
Cascades
time.
to Oakland. Yeah. This is an interesting one because Spiders kind of just put a nice 1 or I think 2 or 3 point win against LA, but Cascades just put 3-point win, and Cascades kind of put a beat down on the Gropus.
Gorbus.
Or no, they played the Growlers. Wait, who did
They
they beat?
played Gorp. No. Yeah, you're right.
Was
They
it
didn't play
Nitro or the
Gorpus.
Growlers?
It was
Growlers, but
Growlers.
by transitive property, Gorpus.
Gotcha. Let's go. We're gonna keep this one. I think the Cascades are back. We're gonna go Spiders -1.5 here.
I'm so
I
confused
really
about what to
like that
pick.
line, and
I'm
I'm
sorry, did you say
almost
Seattle -1.5?
Spiders -1.5.
Spiders -1.5.
so I like the 1.5, but I kind of like Seattle -1.5.
I'm sorry, did you say
Interesting.
Seattle -1.5?
Okay,
I
Oakland
did.
Spiders.
He did.
I
kind
I
of
am.
on
So it's a
Seattle.
pick
I don't
'em.
know.
So it's a pick 'em.
No. So the way we said it, I thought we were gonna switch it off, and on your picks, I would help
sorry.
out.
Okay.
But if
Boo!
we want, if we don't want to do
Work
that, if we wanna-
together. It's Rines' lines.
It's
If it's
Rines'
Rines'
lines
lines-
is not every other lines is Rines' lines is.
I think this
I
makes
thought
it
it
a
was
pick
like
'em.
we'll go back and forth. If you want to make the consensus on this, I'll let you take the pick. I kind of like Seattle -1.5, like
all right,
kind
it's
of
a pick 'em.
retooled.
Pick
Yeah, I
'em.
mean
It's a
retooled.
pick 'em.
Like they have my college buddy Kamel Roslan, I think, still on their O line. So
That's
gotta go
huge.
gotta go
That's
with the
huge for
boy.
us on this podcast.
Yeah, it's
Having
all
a
about
college
loyalty.
buddy on the O line
Yeah.
is huge.
All right, I'll start off and I'll take Spiders for the win.
Wait, so
With
what
Spiders.
is the
Line
It's a
is a
pick 'em.
pick 'em.
It's a pick
The
'em.
pick
Line
'em.
is just pick
Straight
'em.
down the middle. Win or lose.
You can take the push
tie.
if it's a tie.
That cannot happen, correct?
I
I
don't.
believe that there cannot be a tie unless there's like some kind of insane inclement weather and you can never make up the game. Like
Yeah.
there was a point last year, like do you guys remember our game in Boston?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Like
they called it at half.
torrential downpour.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like that would have been maybe a situation if we were tied at like the half or something, but I don't think it's like a real thing.
Yeah, within the rules, it would go to that like golden goal, like second overtime kind of thing.
It'd be
Okay.
kind of wild if it was this one though.
Yeah.
Somebody
Well,
pick it.
No, I'm gonna go
Hey
Spiders.
Lou, hey Lou, I see you looking a little skeptical over there. Like, you gonna go for the tie?
Oh no. I already picked
The issue
Spiders
is
for sure.
for us, if you take the push and you're wrong, you're not allowed to make any picks the next week. Everybody else gets to pick for you.
Ooh, that's
But
tough.
if you're right, you get to pick for everybody else.
That's a tough one. I'm going Seattle definitely because I think they look good.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go Oakland.
I just feel like you go into Oakland, like in the past 2 years, has become a hard place to win at for some reason. Like, I don't know. They just kind of have a little extra juice at home.
I feel like this is a clear. All 4 of us are going to be wrong here.
Yeah,
Probably.
would not be the first time this young season. So. All right, what is the line going to be when the Shred go to San Diego?
Ryan Anderson, what's your thoughts?
I think this is going to be a big one for Shred, despite having to travel. I like them at. I'm between 8.5 and 9.5 right now. I don't
Yeah,
like. I think the Shred travel pretty well, so I'm leaning towards 9.5. But yeah, I'm going to go 9.5. I think they looked really pretty dominant against DC, and I think they'll look equally as dominant against San Diego.
yeah, I like 9.5. That's a good number. I'm thinking 9.5, 10.5. It's so tough when you get into big numbers because really in these games to beat a team by 10, like you really have to beat them. And then once you have up by 10, it's just like a couple points here and there in the middle of the game. Like it's so tough. So, 9.5, I think is a very fair shot. It's like, are the Growlers even going to be close? They just lost the game by 14, you know? So
Yeah. I
Yeah,
will
I was
say
just
I don't know that I've ever seen the Shred like go into like cruise control where they're just kind of like mulling around with the disc. Like I feel like they want to score
Right.
all the time because
Yeah.
scoring is fun.
I feel
And
like they're
they
playing a
pull
bad
it out.
team. They're like, I
Mhm.
want to score 35 tonight.
Yeah.
yeah. You want to bump it up to 10.5 just because they lost by 14?
No.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's
Well,
fair.
the line is 10.5.
Oh, Rines is.
Yeah, I was about to be like, wow, that line is huge. Like, there's no way I can pick the Shred. I picked Empire last week minus 10.5, and look how that ended up for me. But then I was looking at the games last week, and the Growlers lost by 14 to Seattle. There's just no way I can't pick Salt Lake here. So I'm going Shred.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with you, Joe. I'm gonna go Salt Lake.
I love me a big, big line, and I'm gonna take San Diego.
Yeah, you do.
Oh
You
man,
do love that.
I do love me a big line, but Salt Lake. I'm gonna go Growlers here. Give me the points.
This game's gonna be like 38-7.
It probably will be.
The one
I don't
thing
know.
that we maybe didn't account for in the line is that Salt Lake is coming down from altitude to San Diego,
Yes.
and they're probably going to be like flying around the field. So I think I'm definitely going to take Salt Lake.
Yeah, they've been altitude training.
Oh
All right,
wow, Detroit is back.
Yeah.
let's
Oh,
go.
baby.
This is crazy. Detroit somehow got worse this year. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah,
Who
wait,
do they lose?
did we
Let's
ever
see
get
it. Well, let's see if that's still the
confirmation
case. Let's see
They
if that's
lost
still the
on
Brian
case.
Joe
Walsh
Cubit?
and Joe Cubit.
We don't know though. They just weren't on
No,
roster
don't
as of
tell me
like
they
2
lost
weeks
Joe
ago.
Cuban.
None of
I
these guys have pictures.
Joe Cubit is not here.
No way. It took me a really long time watching like one mechanics game to realize that Joe Cubit throws with
Who?
both hands just very casually.
We don't
Yeah.
we don't say that word here, but also
But yeah.
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 It's crazy.
It's
I
it's
don't know. I don't
ridiculous.
know what team you're talking about, but I agree.
The mechanics, that guy on the
Oh,
mechanics.
Are you talking about Joe
fair.
Cubit from the Mechanics?
The
Yeah.
mechanics.
Yeah.
I remember we were watching some game at your house, Joe, in DC, and like Joe Cubit ripped out this big
Yeah. I
like
I, I remember.
lefty huck assist, and we
Mhm.
were like, is he left-handed? Like what? And then we like looked into
Yeah.
it, and the conclusion was, I don't know.
Yeah. Also, like I'm just so either just like nobody talks about Detroit ever, or I'm so ingrained in our podcast, but hearing it pronounced a different way like really threw me a little bit. Like I hear people say radicals and it doesn't really like concern me, even though like it's the rascals. But like hearing that, I can't even say it. That was odd. That just sounded bad.
That's Corona
Yeah.
speak for you for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're slurring a little bit over there.
Yeah. All
Anyway,
right. We
what's
got a line?
what's what's the line?
Oh man, I don't even know, but I like big numbers, but Union, I'm not bought on them. My initial take is 8.5 here. Ryan, what are you thinking?
Is this in Detroit?
It is in Detroit.
I mean,
Can I interject real quick?
yeah.
Sure.
Ryan, you said you're not bought on them. And I'm curious I'm curious what that means relative to not sold on them.
Ryan's lines.
Facts. Okay. Go ahead.
Fucking no, I say shit all the time. Ryan's lines. Yeah, just not bought on. Uh, did you guys remember last week when Andrew just said MVP penis?
Oh yeah.
I was like
We have
MVP
to
penis.
we
We
have
need
to
to talk about this.
apologize. We have to apologize to the fans because Andrew, I think, was talking about like the Empire roster shakeups, and he was like, they're losing Oscar, they're losing Babbitt, so they have like much less MVP-ness. And none of us
Caught it.
none of us
Andrew
laughed.
didn't know. We just get text from Everest that's like, Andrew just says MVP penis, and he sends us the timestamp, and we all go to it, and he just clearly says it. It's just
I was like, what is he talking about? And I listened to it, and I just say MVP penis, and just I keep going, and no one says anything. It was
So,
that was
we owe
awesome.
our fans an apology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ryan Anderson, what is your take on Union Mechanics?
I mean, I think Chicago's a good team. How dominantly they will beat Detroit is really the question. I think this is another like double digit line. Like
Okay.
I think it has to be bigger than the Salt Lake San Diego line. So minimum 11, 11 and a half. I'll probably go
Okay.
11 and a half just to make it interesting.
Can I also ask, I'm curious if you think like John Lithia will have a different role there and if he'll sort of, I guess, have a more like disc dominant role, because obviously New York was very star studded and he was like a cog, but he's insanely good.
He's ridiculously good. Like one of, if not the most underrated players in the league still. Um, he's huge. He has really good hands, like great throws. Doesn't throw into these like crazy pressure situations or like really throw a lot of turnovers. Like he's very, very steady all the way through. I don't know. It's hard to not see somebody who's like, I think he's like 6'3", 6'4". He's probably even taller than that. Like it's hard to not see them in like a predominantly like downfield role. But he's such a good thrower, like especially like his hammers during double teams were like amazing.
Yeah.
It's hard to
I
not see him in a downfield role, but also not see him in some kind of like hybridy, like handler-ish role, just because he's so good with the disc in his hands.
Yeah, I feel like it says so much that on a team as star-studded as the Empire, he was like the sideline trap guy that like will give him the disc and he'll get us out of it. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think height definitely gives you a huge advantage there, but like, I mean, if you can rip a 45-yard hammer and hit somebody like in the chest, like that's definitely important, and he could do that like on a very consistent basis.
Mhm.
So I like 11 and a half. I don't know what you think, Brian.
I initially said 8.5, so I think meeting at 10.5 is fine with me.
I'll take that. That's fair.
So, all right.
Oof.
Union minus 10.5.
Oh God.
This is tough.
I hate having to pick the Garbo team.
It's a good line. I'm going mechanics. I love me a
11
big line.
11 points is so much. You wanted 12, like, oh, that's huge.
Is it huge against the Mechanics?
Especially losing Brian. Like, we
Like
went to their roster and they had no
get out of
features.
bed and they're down 8, you know?
Addition by subtraction.
I think I'm going Union here. Like, I think Detroit is somehow worse than last year. Like, I think they just didn't even try this year. I need to be proven wrong.
I'm taking Chicago.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go Detroit. And it's only because Chicago is not like a run up the score team as much as like the Shred are. Um, and I could see them like going to Detroit and be like, okay, we're up 7. That's fine, kind of thing. But I mean, I can also see them being up 7 and saying that's fine, and then Detroit still turns it over and gives them free goals. So I don't know, but I'm sticking with Detroit.
Well, alrighty then.
I'm feeling
We
Detroit.
still need Joe,
I
don't we?
know. I don't know. I'm feeling Detroit. I don't really know why. I don't really
Okay.
feel great about it, but I don't want to say anything else. I don't know.
All right. Glory Rush.
Glory
Andersen,
Rush.
your first take.
Ooh. Glory Rush in Boston, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Boston at home obviously is like really good. Like I think the thing in question is like when they travel on the road the last couple of years. I think that'll probably be pretty different this year. Rush aren't a bad team. I forget like what their offseason moves were. Like, was it more additions, more subtractions? I'm not like super familiar with their roster, just because I think we only played them once last year.
I think there was a couple big subtractions, like James
It-
Lewis. I think another like specifically if I remember in the fantasy draft, like their 2 top points getters were just not on the team anymore.
Oh yeah, Bevan is gone, I think, also.
oh, really?
Who was their
But yeah,
all-star
friend of
last
the
year?
pod, Brandon Addibay. That's an addition.
Oh,
Oh
nice.
yeah, also Ty Barbieri not
Hi
playing.
Barrieri.
Oh, that's tough. Like,
Yeah.
I like Stonehouse. He's a
We
nice
still have
player.
Luke
Yeah, Luke
Lemieux,
Comier is really nice.
Ryan Pelos.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
A lot of the other people I just don't really recognize. Phil
Oh,
Turner I
Phil Turner
Phil
recognize.
is
Turner.
back. He's nice.
Yeah.
Player to watch.
Keith
Ray is
McRae I
pretty good.
recognize. He's nice. I mean, not so
Chris
different. I
Chan,
guess like
social media
middle
influencer.
and through the roster. Turcotte is like decent too. Um,
Mhm.
but obviously, if you lose like a bunch of top end people and you don't have people sliding into those slots, it's going to be tough. Um, I'll take Glory as like I'm between 5.5 and 6.5 right now.
Okay. I was between
Ooh.
4.5 and 5.5. So do you want to just call it 5.5?
Let's do it.
This is a tough line, I'll be honest, because I have no idea if the Glory just beat Montreal by 2, right? And last year we had Rush better than Montreal, so it's like
Right.
makes sense. But I really think Glory figures it out, and it's in Boston. And last year I think they played Rush, and it was like a 4 or 5 point game or more. Like, so
Yep.
this is interesting. I think this is gonna be a tough one.
I think it's easy. Glory,
Andrew, can I ask you a personal question?
please.
What is this hat you're wearing?
Well, you guys all went and put shirts on, and it was just like the first hat I saw when I turned my head to the right. It was in my closet.
Can you go back to profile view because that was great.
It's
Like,
so it's just like a floppy hat, like but
Mhm.
it's like it kind of has to like do this like Steve Irwin thing to get my headphones on, and
Yeah.
then I flipped it up like this, and it kind of stayed there like that. So
Yeah. When you did that, it kind of looked like, those like Star Wars, like Death Star security guards who have like the thing.
It does look like that.
oh, that's so
It's
good.
a high compliment. Anyway,
Um,
yeah, I'm locking in Glory. I think it's gonna be a sad game. I think Rush got worse.
I think I am with you, Andrew. I think the Glory are gonna like they still want to have that big win game because obviously their home opener was like a little more intense than they probably would have expected.
Yeah.
And I think they want their statement like we have Jeff Babbitt now. We dominate games kind of game.
What are you picking?
Give me Boston.
Give me Toronto. Joe, Ryan?
Yeah, give me Boston. I also don't feel good about this one. I don't want to speak any more about it.
I don't feel
You're
great
honestly
about it.
done.
I don't feel great about it either, but I mean, hard to beat Jeff, even on a line. So I'll take Glory.
All right, lone wolf over here. Danyat, don't pick Toronto because we already know your track record. All right,
All right.
Cascade Summit. Again, another interesting
That's a
one.
crazy game.
Joe, what did we say the line was on Cascade? Who's Cascades play in their first one?
Was it Shred?
What did we say the line was?
If it's against Shred, it's Shred minus 10.5.
No, it
Uh,
wasn't Shred. It was
Spiders.
Oakland.
oh,
Oh, that's a
That was the
pick'em.
and we
push.
said
That's
Yeah.
a pick'em.
Oh man, I'm gonna go. I'll just say my line first. I'll go Summit minus 4.5. That's where I'm thinking. Ryan, what are you thinking?
I like that line too. I think it's tough going into a back to back, but I think 4.5 is fair. Um, Considering you don't know exactly what the summit looked like yet. Like I think maybe seeing a little bit of Seattle the day before will give us a better clue, but not seeing Summit yet at all
In
with
five,
some
like a
changes.
5-point win is a lot.
Yeah,
Where are they playing this year?
Who's the Summit?
Yeah.
Same place as last year, School of Mine. Oh, actually, so the first game, Pinnacle Athletic Complex, they're doing like a little doubleheader with the Colorado Alpenglow. So the Alpenglow play at Pinnacle Athletic Complex, and then the Summit game will be right after. So just this game will be
Cool.
at Pinnacle, and then the rest will be at School of Mines.
Cool.
So anyone in Colorado, go to the Alpenglow game. I've already been to a game this year. It's super fun. So shout out the Alpenglow.
I always want to let you guys do your picks first, but I never do that, and I always do mine first. I don't know why, but Summit.
I'm also Summit. I'm picking against Seattle until I'm wrong. Unless it's against the Growlers.
I'll go Summit also.
Well, I'm also going Summit too.
despite my better judgment of not picking teams on back to backs that are not named New York Empire, I am going to pick Seattle.
All right.
They
We'll
got
see how it goes.
they got smacked last year at Colorado. That was just my one thing that I couldn't quite shake. And also Seattle has just proven to be different on the road. So
Dude, they got to get the oxygen tanks. Come on.
yeah.
Yeah, for real.
I got one on me right now. Come on.
Oh, take a hit. Take a hit.
Oh,
I just had one sitting in my room in my frisbee bag, like right next to me.
That's awesome.
all right. Everyone take a hit. Oh, I'm breathing way better.
All right,
I'm
Ryan,
definitely feeling something.
what do you got for
This,
this?
yeah, this one I want to hear Ryan Anderson's line. Empire in Atlanta.
Empire in Atlanta. I think we travel really well, pretty consistently. I think Atlanta had a kind of rough first week, and they're probably going to come out firing very quickly. I think with two of their, kind of, uh, you know, two of their former players, Antoine and Liam, coming back, I think that'll kind of energize them a little bit. Um, I don't know. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be close. Like I'm gonna put it at 4.5. I think it'll be tight
Closer than
for
that
a
last
lot
year.
of the game, and then kind of stretch out towards the end.
Okay,
Mm.
I see that. Yeah, was it a
I think it
4-point
was
win
4
last year?
last year, but it was closer than that for most of the game.
Yeah, but that was definitely an Atlanta team that doesn't lose by 8 to Carolina.
For sure.
What do you like, Ryan? Do you like 4.5?
I'll just chime in. You guys said that was an Atlanta team that doesn't lose by 8 to Carolina. This is also an that was also an Empire team that doesn't lose by 2 or win by 2 to Montreal.
That's fair.
And with that being said, Ryan, you know the Empire better than anyone on this pod, so I'm not going to touch that line. The line is 4.5.
Well,
All
I
right.
mean, come on, Ryan. You're Ryan's Lions.
Yeah,
Ryan's
but
Lions.
I'm just Ryan. Like, he's also Ryan. We're together.
Now I
Ryans.
will say I don't know if I can actually make a pick. Like actually, I don't know if I'm allowed to make a pick.
Well,
All right.
we're not playing for any money.
No,
So
I know I'm joking with you. But Ryan, I'll double down on whatever you pick.
all right, all right,
Oh,
That's perfect.
sounds great. I'll
oh,
go
One
pick
last.
Hustle. So
Ryan.
he has to pick Hustle.
Oh.
Ooh,
No,
I'm gonna
but
go.
then he might be incentivized to hurt someone's calf, not massage
Oh,
it
that's
well enough.
true.
I'm gonna go.
That's true.
I'm gonna go last, and I'm picking to win because as Ryan, I got to be smart on these lines because it's Ryan's lines. So I'll be incentivized by that. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna pit up. Like you'll see.
No, just go. You gotta go with your gut. You gotta go
Yeah,
with your
that's what I'm
gut.
doing. All right, what do you guys got?
I picked against the Empire. Or no. I did. I picked the Empire last time, and it kind of burned me, but it was also kind of an insane line. Um, Hustle like kind of disappointed. And it's kind of a tough. Oh man, give me the Empire.
Give me the Empire. Give me the Empire.
Don't feel great about it,
Okay.
but
Give me Atlanta. Um, I think 4.5 is a really good line.
it's a good line.
I just think, like, I could see it being like end of game Empires up 4, up 5, depending on like who has the disc. Um, and I don't know. I feel like Atlanta as the home team is gonna like uh I don't know. I feel like the home team. I would actually be interested, Joe, if you could do some data science about this, but I feel like home teams might like outperform themselves like in the closing moments of like closing few minutes of games that aren't like super contentious.
I was getting prepared to do whatever you were about to say, and that's gonna take me longer, but I could do it.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not
no.
gonna do that. I'm not
This
gonna do that right
this is
now, though.
definitely not like a during this
No,
episode
I was like, I
request.
can probably look that up, but no, I'll do that. I can do that later.
Um
I'm
but
too
yeah,
drunk.
me too, man.
Who you pick,
I'm
son?
going Atlanta. I'm going Atlanta.
I think this is the telltale game for the Empire this year because with the losses, I'm not sold that they are the Empire of the past 2 years. But until they lose a game, they are the Empire of the past 2 years. So I'm gonna pick the Empire here. So that means Ryan, you're also picking the Empire here. And if they are the Empire the last 2 years, they should beat a hustle team by more than 5 who just lost to Carolina because theoretically they're better than Carolina. So going Empire here, but really excited to see Hustle upset them if that is the case. And hopefully, Ryan, you have a shitty Monday. But you never. So
that's a fair assessment, and it's gonna be
yeah.
a tough one for sure.
Yeah, on the
All
road,
right.
it's
Yeah.
tough.
All right, let's get through this. We got 2 more games. Salt Lake Shred visiting the LA Aviators on a back-to-back, but I think we've learned good teams on a back-to-back, they're fine. My initial line here, the new look Aviators from last year, assuming they'll have Lotto back because it's a home game, Shred on away. My first number that pops in my head is, oh man, this is a huge West Division Championship rematch. Aviators are gonna come out for this game. I'm gonna go 5.5. Ryan, what do you think?
I was at 6.5, but not seeing. I don't know if Salt Lake has played a back to back, or maybe they didn't play one last year. I can't remember how they looked in like the second game. Um, but I mean, those guys play hard in every single game. I feel like with San Diego, maybe they'll, if they're up by a ton, like take the foot off the gas a little bit, and then kind of save for the Aviators. So yeah, I think that line's pretty good.
All right. 5.5. Lock it in.
Give me the shred.
The Aviators like lose. They never lose by that much. I'm going Aviators.
I would love to not go next if either Ryan is ready.
I'm going to go Aviators as well. I think it'll be tight and shred pull out the win still.
Yeah,
I have my pick ready, Sam, but I was just gonna go last because it's Ryan's lines and that's what we do. But if you want me to go first, I'm ready.
No, I think I'm ready. I'm gonna go Aviators.
I'm locking in Salt Lake.
Yeah, I'm not feeling great about it.
It's so weird because I see the Aviators having a close game or getting blown out. Like last year, I feel like at the beginning of the season they got blown out and then they kind of had a close game. But I mean, this shred team has legs for days. So I'm not too worried about the back to back.
Yeah.
Good line.
What was it? 4.5 or 5.5?
5.5.
5.5.
5.5? Fuck.
Yeah.
Good line. That's a fucking good line.
I don't know. Yeah, like I'm picking Aviators, but I agree. I don't expect it to be like a competitive game. I just yeah, I don't know. Especially last week, like Aviators really should have won that game, even if it was a road game at Oakland.
Yeah. All right,
I don't
final
know.
game. We got an Eastern Conference game here, Ryan. So you're pretty well versed with these teams, which I think helps let you start this line off. DC
Yeah.
Breeze going up to Philadelphia. What are you thinking?
I know DC is probably pretty pissed off about the Salt Lake game. I think they're better than how they played in that game. I thought some of their turns were just kind of like miscues that haven't been like ironed out for like an early season game, especially when you're going across the country. So I feel like they're going to come back with a little bit of firepower. That being said, like Philly's still a good team and they have great players on their roster. I'm going to go Breeze minus 7.5. I think it's still going to be like a beat down, but I think again, like Breeze kind of cruise towards the end.
Um, can I ask Ryan, can I ask you something about one of the Breeze players
Yeah,
who was an Empire player last year?
Burpee.
Burpee. Um,
Is Burpee who we got drinks with?
yeah.
Yes,
I think Ryan, you were also there.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious because I know he's like super young, and I'm wondering because like he was very much not a like play a lot of points guy for the Empire, and then he did play like a good amount of points in that game, week 1.
Was he playing on their O line? Was that like, or was he an O line rotation player? I couldn't
I
really
th
figure out what they were doing lines wise.
I don't really know. I think I did see him on O-line points. Um, and yeah, I guess I was just kind of wondering like if you think like that's just like him being a young player and that's his trajectory, or if that's like a um I don't know, because I feel like we've talked about DC and the way they play a lot, and they're a lot more um use everybody for better for worse kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, I mean, like Burpee's, he like graduated college, I think, like last year, so he's like super young and like even still as like a pretty high level college player, still pretty raw. I think he's more like finally equipped to like play offense. I think at this point, especially UFA. versus defense, because I mean his throws are pretty precise. He has relatively big throws, and he's also just like a big body and can like get up in the air a little bit. So I think offensively, like he fits really well for them. I don't think he doesn't fit defensively, but I think it's probably just a better fit on offense. And he also knows, how to kind of operate in the league already, even, just like learning from, perennial MVPs. Like he learned from the last 4 MVPs in a row all on one roster. So he definitely has like a little bit of the experience now of just like being a part of it, and like the skills to be a good player. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was like a regular on their O line as they get deeper in the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like he must gain so much being like a young guy on the Empire roster, and then like my initial reaction seeing him like on the field for DC was like, oh, that means DC is like worse off than the Empire because he didn't play for the Empire, but he plays for DC. But yeah,
I
I
mean,
guess
at
that
the end
makes
of the
sense.
day, like he may not be getting like the game reps, but he's getting a ton of practice reps playing against, our O line essentially. So
Mhm.
he's guarding one of those 7 or 8 rotation guys that are going to be on the O line. So those are insanely good reps, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And if he can just carry that kind of style into a game and maybe like lock it down even more, like he's going to play really well. I also me and Zach are both, so like he's an easy person to pick on that team.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't know if
fair enough.
did I do my pick yet?
You said
You
7.5.
said
I
Ryan
said
seven.
hasn't.
7.5.
Other
Oh,
Ryan hasn't said anything yet.
I haven't said anything because I'll be honest, my initial thought was closer to 3.5.
Ooh.
okay.
And I was like, we can meet in the middle. We could just say you know the East better than I do, which is true.
Well, why do you
But
like 3.5?
because I don't think like we talk about Philly as cold birds, hot birds. This is such a like a hot bird game for them. Like if they come out and beat DC or like take DC to a close game, they're like, oh, we're good, and then they go lose a shitty game to someone else or whatever. And I just don't think it's an 8 point loss is a beat down. And
You
like
gotta
if
you
the
gotta
line
think
was
the
seven and
hot
a
birds
half,
are showing up.
I'm really
Yeah.
curious to see like Andrew, Joe, Sam, or any of you guys taking DC in this game? If it was 7.5,
I don't know.
Definitely
If it
not.
was 7.5, I'm probably taking Philly.
so that's my call. So maybe
That's fair.
meet at 5.5 or 4.5. I'm fine
I'll
saying 5.5
I'll
for me.
I'll take you at 4.5. I think I'm probably maybe overhyping the Breeze a little bit just because I thought that they were maybe due for a win against Salt Lake, to kind of, really put a staple on like, hey, like we are definitively the second best team in the UFA. I thought they were going to come out firing in this one, but I can walk it back a little bit. I think 4.5.
We can bump it up to 5.5, and meet in the middle there. And I think that'll be a good line because that'll really, toss up, the Breeze believers. Because, besides the solid game, which they had to travel, 2 time zones, like we've really thought of them as the second best team. So 5.5, let's call it.
All right.
I'm Phoenix. I feel like it's always close at Phoenix. Even if it like they had a cold bird week and then you're like, all right, this should be easy. Then like DC has to win on a buzzer beater or like, for whatever reason, Philly. I mean, they play a lot of teams close at home, but I think especially these DC games, like they never make it out of Philly with an easy win. I feel like so. For that reason, I'm gonna go Phoenix, but also flip a coin. Like, what team are we gonna see? I don't really know. Like, they could lose by 5, and I wouldn't be surprised. So, um, yeah,
Well,
but
they
I'm
would
gonna
still
go
cover
Phoenix.
then because the lines. Joe, what do you
Yeah,
think?
Think I'm gonna go DC.
-5.5.
Yeah. Um, I think it helps a lot that this is Philly's first game. They didn't play last week. There's They haven't figured out the rust to shake off yet. And the Breeze, despite like not playing, I think what is their best frisbee, they still only lost by 3 to one of the best teams in the league.
Sure.
So, yeah, I'm gonna take Breeze here. I think they come out and play pretty well.
Yeah, let's see that. Give me the hot birds here. 5.5. I think it's just too much. Getting 5.5 points. But I'm not totally sold on it.
Ryan, did you push the line from 4.5 just because you really didn't want to make a choice on 4.5? You wanted it to be 5.5.
I was trying to honor the Rines' lines and meet in the middle. I said
Yeah,
3.5.
that's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
Ryan had a higher line.
Yeah, no, that is fair. That is fair.
I think with that higher line, I have to take DC. I feel confident that they are not going to start 0-2, which would be a very interesting storyline for the rest of the season.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the hot birds, I think. Like I see what you're saying about Philly not getting a chance to like have a first game and knock rust off and whatnot. But I kind of feel like that's their whole MO is like they're
Yeah,
not
I get
supposed
it.
to be ready for this and then they're gonna win it and then like well, not win it, but not lose by 6. And
Yeah.
then the game that they're supposed to be prepared for, they're gonna way underperform.
This is definitely a hot bird trap game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Rines lines?
Ryan's lines?
Ryan's lines.
Rines lines. Come on, Ryan. Give me a
I
Rines
think we
lines.
did it.
Right, lines.
There we go.
Nice.
I love
Ryan's
it.
lines. Ryan's is lines.
Ryan's lines is.
Yeah.
All right.
Did it.
Sick.
Let's
All right.
go.
I'm open.
Open.
I'm
open.
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 I'm open.
Oh. Can
Open.
you tell how media not trained we are?